Hey everyone, and welcome back to News of the Science, where we discuss comics, movies, games, and more. And tonight, I have a brand new Spider-Man plot leak video for you guys tonight. It's going to be quite a doozy, so sit back and relax. But before you do that, I want you guys to go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, and click on bell notifications so you don't miss anything. I post videos on a daily, do live streams twice a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays from 8:30 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. Eastern time. Definitely don't want to miss those. Those are a lot of fun. And join my Discord and social media. The links to those are in the description box below. There you can join my Discord and gather around and meet up with a lot of people who are into the same kind of topics as you and me, like comic books and Spider-Man, of course. Anyways, this plot leak just dropped recently, and I want to be clear. Take everything that I'm about to read to you and discuss with you with a huge grain of salt, because you would swear that some of the things that you're about to hear sound ridiculous, but then again, with the indisputable evidence that's been presented to us for the last few months, involving Alfred Molina, Jamie Foxx, Tom Holland, Andrew Garfield, and Tobey Maguire, and even Doctor Strange, those people, all those actors that are confirmed to return in this film, it tells us that, then again, some of these plot leaks seem kind of real. Let's go ahead and take this with a huge grain of salt, and let's go ahead and talk about all this. So Spider-Man No Way Home hits theaters on December 17th, but Marvel and Sony have not really released any footage from it yet. So we explained recently why it was a great idea to wait for Loki to finish before releasing Spider-Man 3 trailer. That's because the TV show introduces the MCU's multiverse, giving us various rules for time travel and multiple realities. No Way Home happens to be a multiverse film. That's the Spider-Man 3 spoiler everybody probably knows by now, and it's totally the worst kept secret ever. While we wait for the first trailer, we keep seeing No Way Home plot leaks out here, so we can't tell whether or not any of them is genuine, but the latest one definitely seems real. Mind you, some massive Spider-Man 3 spoilers follow down right now what I'm about to discuss, so if the plot leak is accurate, it'll pretty much ruin everything for you because it gives us a highly detailed rundown time of events. So the No Way Home spoilers everybody knows. Before we dive into this monstrous No Way Home plot leak, I'll remind you of the safe spoilers we all know. Spider-Man 3 will be a multiverse film. Once again, that's what it's looking like. All the villains from Sony's Sam Raimi films and Mark Webb's The Amazing Spider-Man movies will return. Better yet, Tobey and Andrew Garfield will play the Spider-Man versions from those films. To make things easy to understand, we'll refer to each Spider-Man version by the actor's name, which is basically Tobey, Andrew, and Tom. So we have 3 Spider-Man variants in the plot, and the leaker who posted the plot on 4chan via Reddit at some point in the past few weeks had this to say about this access to Marvel and Sony No Way Home secrets. I'm not going to tell you guys who I am or what kind of job I do at Marvel Studios. Very convenient. But I'm bringing this out because I'm frustrated. While I have not seen the movie, I've read the script and goes like this. Also, the trailer won't show Tobey and Andrew, and it's full of fake scenes designed to throw you off. This is your final warning. The actual No Way Home plot begins like this. So Act 1, the plot leak, the main villain, and the first Spider-Man variant. From the start of the film, we'll see Willem Dafoe's Green Goblin wearing the 2002 Spider-Man armor, but without the helmet. The action then pivots to Spider-Man, whose identity was just exposed. No Way Home will pick up right after Far From Home, with Spider-Man having to deal with the fact that people who know him is Spider-Man in this timeline. It's Aunt May, Marissa Tomei, who will hook Spider-Man up with the lawyer, who turns out to be Charlie Cox's Matt Murdock. We'll see Daredevil telling Spider-Man that he knows he's innocent, and he knows that Peter Parker is Spider-Man. But the prosecution will use doctor's footage to prove that Spider-Man did kill Mysterio in the previous films. Speaking of doctors, Peter ends up in prison after his initial legal battle, and that's when a portal opens up with the paper readings 177A Bleecker Street, hurry. Now we know from leaked photo sets that Spider-Man will meet Doctor Strange, Benedict Cumberbatch, at this Sanctum Sanctorum, and this is No Way Home plot leak preceded to set photo reveal by a few weeks too. So Peter takes MJ, Zendaya, and Ned to the Sanctum Sanctorum, and there the official No Way Home stills so far reportedly come from. You can see all the official Spider-Man 3 images in the posts. If you Google it, you can totally find them there. You see Peter, MJ, and of course Ned in the Sanctum right there, presumably meeting Doctor Strange. Strange things are afoot in No Way Home. Strange tells him that the flow of time is disturbed and that realities are bleeding into each other. The wizard has an orb that supposedly allows him to manage realities. Apparently 2 timelines are merging into a single one. Strange has to use pure magic as the Infinity Stones are gone, and he can't leave the Sanctum, but villains from other realities that are almost like the primary MCU timeline have arrived, and they're all connected to Spider-Man. Strange reveals that the villains were taken from the Raimi and TASM timelines. The villains there were removed from those universes right before their deaths. They're all working for someone, although Strange doesn't mention the Green Goblin at this point. That's when Strange gives Peter a special suit. He combines the Iron Spider with magic, and that's apparently what the integrated suit is all about. Spider-Man will have to capture the invading villains, and that's why he needs special powers. Spider-Man captures 5 of the Sinister Six, but they injure him, and only 3 of them end up in the Sanctum. That's where Peter learns about Sandman's history from TASM. He tells the villains that in this reality, his daughter got to live while Sandman died during a bank heist. Ultimately, the villains escape, with Spider-Man rushing after them. That's when we learn that Norman Osborn is leading the Sinister Six. He arrived in the MCU reality in the past. He then disposed of this reality's real Norman Osborn and kept Oscorp under the radar to avoid the same fate from the Raimi-verse. Just as Norman prepares to kill Tom, we get Andrew wearing the Spider-Man suit from TASM 2, saving Tom. So the Sinister Six use this group name in the film. They do have a base of operations, and they do have a sinister plan. All of them, except for Sandman, plan on killing MCU Spider-Man and conquer this world. According to the plot leak, they want to attack the Sanctum, kill Strange, Tom, and Andrew, steal the orb, and then bring more over versions of themselves into the MCU. Act 2 will show us Tom and Andrew interacting. They'll talk about the similarities and differences between their worlds. Strange will explain that he used a forgotten spell to pull a particular person from a different timeline. The spell allows him to pick his targets, whereas the current multiverse problem moves people over randomly. Strange can't give Andrew more of his magic, so the 2 Spider-Men build new suits for themselves. Tom gets the black and gold suit, while Andrew receives a high-tech black and gold classic Iron Spider suit. It's just Tom who will continue to use magic, however. It's in No Way Home's Act 2 that we get to meet Toby. We find him in the timeline where he continues to save people as Spider-Man. This is where Kirsten Dunst's MJ cameo appears, and we learn the 2 of them have a daughter named May Parker. Toby wants to retire as Spider-Man, as other heroes have started appearing in this universe. It's unclear who they are, however. In Act 3, plot leak, final battle, tragic death, and resurrection. Norman Osborn and the Sinister Six attack the Sanctum Sanctorum with Tom, Andrew, and Strange playing defense. The fight is a pretty big one, with the 2 Spider-Men capturing 4 of the 6 villains, Lizard, Scorpion, Vulture, and Doc Ock. Norman stabs Tom through the shoulder, and that's when Sandman saves this Spider-Man version. Osborn kills Sandman, as we learn that he has a contingency plan in place to neutralize the villains who would not remain loyal to him. Norman also has a new glider from the MCU's Norman variants, which he uses to defeat Tom and Andrew. The heartbreaking death in No Way Home, other than the leaks that we spoke about just now that are in No Way Home, this would feature a heartbreaking death, and according to this leak, it'll be MJ. With the 2 Spider-Men down for the count, MJ strikes Norman in the head with a steel pipe, but it didn't hurt him. Norman slowly turns his attention to MJ. Tom screams at MJ to run, but Norman grabs her by the neck and tosses her across the room, slamming her into a wall rather brutally. Tom screams, but is knocked down by Norman with 1 punch. MJ will have a death similar to Gwen Stacy in The Amazing Spider-Man 2. Tom cradles MJ, who starts bleeding from the nose, mirroring the moment Andrew lost Gwen in The Amazing Spider-Man 2. Andrew takes off his mask in shock. MJ dies. Ned and May console Tom, but Strange tells him that they've escaped with the orb, but he has brought the one last backup, even though it isn't much. The final fight, the Sinister Six might have stolen the orb from Strange, but not before the Wizard cast a spell on it, making it glow red briefly. That's where Strange drops a portal in Raimi's universe to grab Toby for the final fight. We're looking at 3 Spider-Man versions against the Sinister Six. Toby and Andrew try to hold back the Sinister Six while Tom goes after the orb. The device is overcharged with energy, as Norman has been using it without access to magic. Norman is trying to pull villains from other realities. If the orb is destroyed, then Strange will have no way of fixing the multiverse. Portals start appearing from the sky, buildings, cars, and even people start falling from them. Tom successfully sends all the villains and the 2 other Spider-Men back to their respective timelines. Norman is put back in the last second before he is impaled by his glider. Luckily, the orb didn't break, but it's heavily cracked. That's when Peter has a bright idea to use the orb to bring MJ back to life and get his secret identity back. Strange warns against that, but Peter does it anyway. The orb breaks, and then Tom looks around as something happens, similar to when Thanos snapped his fingers. Strange asks what has he done as the screen fades to white. The Spider-Man future after No Way Home. Peter's orb magic worked. People no longer know who he is in MJ's life, but MJ has no recollection of who Peter is, of their love story. Here's how No Way Home ends according to the plot leak. We cut to Tom waking up in his bed. He greets Aunt May good morning and heads for school. At school, he meets Ned. they see MJ walk past the hallway, but she doesn't recognize them. She also seems to be more popular than she was before. Tom recognizes her and becomes sad seeing her, but Ned doesn't. He just says that she's out of their league. We see a somber montage of a depressed Tom going about his day in high school. There's also a class about alternate dimensions. Tom walks out of a classroom after class and bumps into a blonde girl. They say sorry to each other and make eye contact, but we don't see who this girl's face is. Cut to black while we hear Tom ask what the girl's name is. Movie ends. That's a lot to really take in right there. And judging by what the description reads, where basically MJ is brought back to life, but she doesn't remember Tom's Peter Parker Spider-Man. It's kind of reminiscent of basically a brand new day comic, which I didn't really enjoy, where in that comic Peter's marriage is basically done and like non-existent, and they were never married just for Aunt May to live. It's kind of similar to that. Maybe this could be Spider-Man No Way's Home version of that kind of comic series. And the fact that maybe Gwen Stacy will be introduced towards the end of this movie is also pretty cool as well. Because Gwen Stacy, as we know, is basically Peter Parker's like first actual true love. But we all know what happens to Gwen Stacy in the end in the comics, for those of you who are huge Spider-Man comic fans. But anyways, that's pretty much it. What did you guys think about these plot leaks? I think it's way too good to be true, honestly. But then again, a lot of the evidence that we've been seeing in like these toy leaks, especially with the toys being displayed, showing off the different kinds of costumes, I think it's a possibility that we will be seeing these costumes. Obviously, the scenes that Sony basically uploaded themselves, showing like basically Peter and company, which is MJ and of course Ned in the Sanctum, also says otherwise that this is true. So this movie is going to be pretty much a multiverse film. It is kind of concrete already. As it is, we have a lot of evidence to support that theory. At this point, it's not really a theory. It's actually just the worst kept secret in Hollywood. But other than that, guys, I'm sorry it's been a long one. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe, of course, and click on that bell notification so you don't miss anything. And also post your best theories and thoughts about this movie, because honestly, this movie's starting to sound bigger than it really has to be. So anyways, guys, are you excited for Spider-Man No Way Home? Obviously, it's a stupid rhetorical question. You don't have to answer that, but comment down below with your best thoughts and theories, and tell me what are your thoughts about this leak. Anyways, guys, thank you all so much for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe once again, and click on that bell notification so you don't miss anything. And as always, I will see you all in the next comic panel.